Today we're reviewing ICAN's F945 wheel set. If you remember from the first look, this is a super light 28-hole 45i 29 plus wheel set. I'm running 3.0s on it, and today we're going to see how they ride. Man, I love 29 plus. I know I've said it a lot, but man, is it special. I can tell these are stiff wheels. Even though you run 29 plus with low pressures, you can feel that stiffness. They're responsive and snappy, but we'll see when we open it up a little how they feel. All right. This thing's pretty playful. So these are 28-hole wheels, which makes them lighter. Also a little bit flexier side to side, which can be good. You don't want a carbon wheel that's too stiff on a plus bike. These are quite stiff wheels. So even though these are fairly stiff wheels, I can still get them to flex into this frame, which has very little clearance, to be honest. Yeah, it's bouncing me around. Boy, that's interesting. On an otherwise supple frame, these stiff carbon wheels are really fatiguing me, and the frame doesn't feel supple anymore. A lot of carbon wheel manufacturers market their wheels as stiff because a lot of people understand that stiff means faster acceleration, like better performance per se, but these are too stiff for me. I'm gonna experiment around with tire pressure a little bit more, see if I can tune that out, but these are even stiffer than the Santa Cruz Reserve wheels. Oh, that's too bad, because they sure came in light and they're sure beautiful wheels. If you're on a full suspension, might be a great option. Those are soft. I don't dare go much softer. And they do flex enough to get into the chainstays. Granted, I only have a couple millimeters on each side. That's a harsh ride though. Even on plus tires with low pressure. They're light though, and you feel that when you put the power down. They're light wheels. And I love how wide they are. I love the contact patch of the tire. It's nice that the tires don't want to fold, being on that wider rim. I like the tire profile. It does feel more aggressive in the corners, like I can come in hotter, and I know the tires will stick. I just feel like 29 plus really comes alive here. I'm not racing through it, trying to get through as fast as possible, but it might be sandy, it might be loose, it might be rocky, and the 29 plus just really shines in here. And there is a noticeable difference between 29 plus and 27.5 plus. It still rolls through things a little bit better, more like a 29er. So even though I don't have massive travel, the tires really fill in the holes and soak stuff up, and that's really fun. It gives the bike a capability that it doesn't have on regular 29ers. I love the wide footprint of these tires. Really helps that 29 plus fill out and use all that volume. There's no sense going plus if you're going to run a narrow rim. That's just the worst of everything. I still feel the stiffness of these wheels when I pick up speed. I mean, I guess if there's anywhere you could get away with a stiff rim on a hardtail, it's on 29 plus, because it's such a big rim, handling a lot of traction duties with that big tire. Oh, this is fun. This is really fun. Man, the braking traction is incredible on these. I don't dare lower my air pressure anymore. It's going to start getting squirmy. I'm pretty low. I'll bet I'm 12 and 13 range. So I can hear the wheel flex slightly in the chainstays on G-outs and hard corners, landing jumps and stuff. So they're vertically stiff. They're not as stiff laterally as some others. That's kind of the opposite way that you want it. And this just goes to show how tricky that balance is with carbon wheels. A lot of people think a carbon wheel is a carbon wheel. I'll just buy the cheapest ones I can find. And you can't deny the price on these is insane. Really good price. However, they're nowhere near as compliant as my Knights, as the Atomic Carbons, as the Zip 30 Motos, even my aluminum nuke-proof Horizon V2s. Those are far more compliant than these. So if you want a stiff wheel, especially if you're on something like a full suspension, and you just want it real stiff, and you want the lightweight and bling of carbon, these could be a good option for you. But I'm here to tell you there are much more forgiving carbon wheels that I would want on a hardtail. Okay, here we go. Plus tires for the win. That's a tricky climb. I like that these don't have as much self-steer and awful rebound as a full fat tire. So while I love the weight, I love how quickly these wheels spin up. And I love that they're not super flexy. They are flexier than I would recommend. They just transfer too much vibration to the body. And that's the price you pay when you go with some of the cheapest rims you can find. Those soft, supple carbon wheels are harder to engineer than just making something super stiff. And some people like stiff wheels, so I'm not saying these are bad. They're just not for me on a hardtail especially. Wow, those tires really smooth stuff out, and then the wheels get a little bit harsh. Like the wheels allow the wide tire to be on there to soak so much up, but then they kind of come back and bite you and sting you. If you ride somewhere that's not rocky like this, which let's be honest, this is rockier than 99% of the places out there, you might like a really stiff rim. Then again, you probably don't need a plus wheel set either. So unfortunately, I can't recommend these wheels unless you like a really stiff wheel. I feel like they're too stiff. I bounce off. I don't have the traction I need. I'm not glued to the ground. I'm skipping across stuff. Even at crazy low pressure on the 29 Plus. I love the size. I love the weight. I love the build quality. I love the dimensions of them, but they're just too harsh. So if there's one thing I could tell ICAN, it would be design some vertical compliance into it and maybe even make it a little bit stiffer side to side. I got a little more wheel flex side to side than I wanted, and it was too stiff vertically. I hate giving negative reviews on this channel, and it's not my intention to sabotage any companies. That's not what I try to do. But reviews are pointless if I just make everything sound great and just fluff everything up like so many other websites and reviewers. So I try to be brutally honest and tell you guys, the consumers, exactly how something feels. And these are even stiffer than the Santa Cruz Reserve wheels and the Nox Kitsuma wheels, which are some of the stiffest wheels I've ridden. So unfortunately, I can't recommend these for people who ride like I do. So this just goes to show that not all carbon wheels are created equal. And I always say that. And a lot of people get sucked into the cheap price of a cheaper carbon wheel, because you can get cheap carbon wheels now and they're going to stay true, and a lot of them are going to be even stronger than aluminum wheels, and they're going to be light and they're going to be stiff. And if that's what you want, great. I want all of those things except for the vertical stiffness, and that's a really hard thing to do, and that's why my favorite wheels cost $1,800 to $2,000, and there is a very significant difference between those. And an amazing set of wheels will do more to change the way your bike rides than just about anything. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. There's a party in the mountains, and you're invited.